So let me just tell you before I begin. So my day was weird, right? So first of all, I checked my mail, which I just don't do because it's 2016. I've never been like, oh, I hope someone's trying to get a hold of me. Oh. Like I can literally go to a subreddit and find thousands of pictures of birds with arms. Like I don't need to go to the mail and find out what the world's trying to give to me. I can already seek out everything that I need. So I go to the mail and there's two bills, two parking violations for me. One of them, across the Golden Gate Bridge. I need that fast track thing, right? Okay, yes, I gotta pay that. Another one, apparently my wheels weren't like that. Oh, did I not fix the audio? You know, so my wheels were parked like that and not like that, so, you know, I got a ticket, right? That sucks, it's sad, that's bad, it's bad, sad, bad. So I go on and I try to pay the bill, and it declines payment, and I'm like, wait, what? And I like hit a refresh thing, and then it shows that I actually have like 8 tickets. And I was like, because I don't actually do terribly many things with my car. I kind of park it in front of the apartment. I occasionally go to Safeway and return. That's 95% of it, right? I don't really go to the city very much in my own car. I normally take a Lyft or an Uber. So, I have all these tickets, and I keep trying to pay, and I look at one of the codes, and it says that the registration to my car has been denied. I don't have registration. And I'm like, wait, what? And I look, and apparently it's all these tickets from just them going around the block every few days and being like, he doesn't have his registration, he doesn't have his registration. So I'm like, that's really weird. Go to the DMV, and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get this sorted out, and they say, you don't have any car insurance. And I'm like, what? Now, while all this is happening, I think you've been seeing me on air, I got a little itchy ear thing. It's been starting to hurt, right? Now, I don't know if you've ever had an ear infection before, but there is no pain on earth that is worse than an ear infection, right? Like the whole side of your head and like down your neck and the teeth on this side hurt if your ear hurts. It's so bad. So I'm sitting there and I can just feel my ear pain swelling up, and for some reason I just like can't quite hear what she's saying. Because it's like all of a sudden something closed up and swole up and I can't hear. So I'm like angrily leaning leftward like, well, what do you mean I don't have car insurance? I have it set up on auto pay. And she's like, sir, I'm a DMV. I don't handle auto insurance. And I'm like, well, what? Repeat that one more time, right? So I'm just like sort of alarmed because it's very clearly not legal for me to have my car with no insurance that is apparently unregistered drive to the DMV before they tell me that I need to leave the DMV in the car I came in and call to get the insurance and then get the smog checked and then they'll get me re-registered. So I get in the car and I call Geico. I use Geico. I really like Geico. Get like literally the friendliest human in the world. Like I wanted to become friends with this man. And apparently, I'd set up auto pay on my credit card. And my bank had recently given me a new credit card, so it's just apparently I was just driving uninsured. And he's like, well, if you want, I can set it up so that, you know, I can do auto pay from your bank account instead of your credit card. I was like, that's awesome. Let's do that. Hold on, let me pull over and find my bank account information. And I realized how terrible of a thing that was to say to the people who are going to give me auto insurance. Hold on one sec. I mean, I don't have the insurance. I'm driving. Let me pull over. And I don't try to let it slide. I'm like, I'm only driving because I was driving back from the DMV where I just found out that I wasn't insured. Oh, like, no problem, sir. Totally understand. I would never do this. I don't normally do this. I sound so guilty. And of course, I'm having to do this weird thing where, I mean, this is why I'm not wearing my headphones today, where I have this headphone in this ear, and this one sort of draped over because it just hurts. So I'm like talking to, like, normally the microphone dangles like right here. It's like right here. So he can hear every I'm so sorry. I was just like puffing into him. No problem, sir, no problem. And he's like, no, we'll get you insured on the phone, so that way when you go back to driving, you'll be insured. I'm like, well, that wasn't coy. Jesus. Look, back off, man. Just tell me you can get me insured right now. Gets me insured. And at this point, I'm like, what if my car payments, like, haven't been going through as well? What if I accidentally set it up on that credit card too? So I call the car loan people. Now let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a set and forget. I want as few things occurring that I have to pay attention to as humanly possible. Everything's on auto pay, all of it. I plan once what my budget is, and then I don't look, right? So I'm panicked because what if, like, I have this compounding, infinitely creating interest? What if I owe like $1 billion? Like, I'm so scared. So I like call them. Oh my God, I call like, hello. I need to make sure I'm paying for my car. And she's like, well, that makes sense. We do loans for cars. I'm like, just I need to know. I give her all the information, go through all the things. And she goes, yeah, no, everything's fine. You know, you have like $50 left on your car if you just want to pay it off right now. And I was like, for the whole car? It's like, yeah, you just pay us $50. We'll send you the title to the car. If you want to pay it right now, you can wait till next month. You'll have to pay, hold on, let me calculate, $52.50. And I'm like, well, let's just own a car today. So I ship $50 and now I own a car that I'm actually not allowed to drive because I still need to go through the registration and smog check process, right? So I don't know how that happened. I don't know, set and forget, and sometimes you just only owe $50 on a large thing. So paid that puppy off and was like, yeah! And she's like, can I help you with anything else? And I was like, what? Because this ear is still swollen shut. So I take my car that is now insured, that I own, that isn't registered, and turn it around, and I go to an urgent care center, and it's this urgent care center that does not look as though it has any medical authority in the slightest. Because here's the thing. There's those signals that you see, like if there's someone wearing a uniform with a hat and a clipboard, and they're doing things, they have authority within a mile of whatever building they're at, right? Anyone with a uniform has the authority. And part of me wants to be like, yeah, this is bullshit. Like the uniform gives you any authority. Wait until you want to get sound medical advice. You want to pull up to something that has like glass and like a really nice lettering on the front. You don't want to go up to what essentially looks like a house next to several other houses. Because if I'm just going to Dr. Johnson's house and he's just like, oh, hey, come on in. My wife's making coffee. Please sit down. No, we don't accept insurance. Let me just look at you. Like, I don't want to wake up later in Dr. Johnson's house. Just got dark really fast. Look, the important thing is this did not look legit. So I go inside. So I'm in the urgent house. I'm in the urgent house. There's no one there except for me. They have me fill out a form. I mean, people who work there are there, but no patients are there, right? So no one's there. I fill out a thing, and I've been to the ER before. I actually did a show on how I almost died that you should look up. It's called How I Almost Died. And you normally have to fill out quite a lot of thing, and here's your, here's your medical information, here's how high and much you weigh that you think you weigh, but we'll reweigh you anyways. You flip it over and you fill it out again, you turn it over and you get emergency contact. This was like, what's your name and your address? All right, have a seat. And there's one thing like, it's cool if we have your medical records. I'm like, yep. They're like, all right, we'll see you in a sec. So, everyone was just so... I was almost like a practice dummy. The nurse comes in, she's like, all right, let's get your height, let's get your weight, let's take your blood pressure. Doctor will be in shortly. Now, if you've ever watched the show, I behave this way in a lot of places. I don't monologue nonstop for 90 minutes, but I like to put in little quips and things, like, all right, sir, let's weigh you. I'm like, yeah, let's find out how much I've gained. And she's like, sir, please step on the weight. And I was like, oh, that upset her badly. Doctor comes in and literally just goes, I'm going to go to my computer. And he goes to the computer and he just says like, do you drink? Do you smoke? Have you been to a foreign country in the last 4 weeks? And he's just like asked like rapid fire questions. Do you smoke? I mean, I've smoked a cigarette or two, but I don't smoke. Do you drink? Yeah, no, I mean, I do this show called, have you been to a foreign country in the last 4 weeks? Like, And I'm still trying to do the jokes because at this point it's about my comfort, right? It's about me. I want to say a little quippy thing that I can hear out of this ear but not this one. So he's like, lie down. So I just lie down, and he puts a little thing in my ear and looks. He's like, there's earwax. And then he just puts in drops and just says, stay here for 15 minutes, and then he's gone. And I'm just sitting there sideways. I have no idea how much I can rock or move. I'm literally, and I wasn't all the way sitting down resting, so I'm just like sitting there like some strongman competition trying to support my gigantic head as the stuff bubbles in my ear, which I think is infected because it was so itchy. Now, if you have like little bubbly itchiness in your ear, and you think that you can't move, that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, right? So I'm just sitting there, and it's just bzz, and it's just tickling. Like, it doesn't hurt. It's not painful. It's tickly. It's the tickliest sensation I've ever had, next to an increasingly sore area. And 15 minutes later, the nurse comes in. I'm like watching the International on my phone. Like, go Team Liquid! Yeah! Team Liquid! And I like to think that the medical industry is this like beautiful and advanced, just miracle of knowledge fountain, you know, where it's like, well, we will take this electronic device, we will scan it. Ah, we see swelling here and here, let's fix it. And it's gone, right? I have this image that it's like Star Trek in there. But basically, they take a tiny plastic bucket and they hold it under my ear with like a paper towel, and she takes a syringe with warm water and just puts it in my ear and just starts pumping it, and it's just like drilling into my ear, like my ear is still ringing. I'm like, ah! Like, the ear is sensitive. This is the whole point of the story right now, that the ear is sensitive. And it's just, I'm getting squirting into the ear hard and loudly, and I'm just like, and I'm the one who's responsible for holding the bucket too, because this is like a two-handed syringe thing. And so I'm just like, I learned that it's called a lavage, if you want to look that up. L-A-V-A-G-E. And I think the official definition is a process by which you use water to empty a cavity. Just doing that. And the doctor, you know, comes, so she's like, wow, it came out. And then she empties the bucket and takes her things off and she leaves. And I know that something's out and my ear is just in a little bit of pain. Doctor comes back in. He goes, all right, let's look at your ear. Looks at the ear. Yeah, it looks like it was a little itchy, and you itched it with your finger, and you caused inflammation. And I'm like, okay, so there's nothing bad, it's just, he's like, well, you just stuck your finger in your ear, and you caused inflammation. Okay, so, I mean, is it infected or anything? No. It's inflammation. Okay, no, I hear you loud and clear, doctor, who hasn't introduced himself to me ever at any point because he just went to the computer. All right, okay. So he gives me a little drop of doohickeys. He's like, just put these in 4 times a day. It'll go away. And I said, well, you know, what happens if it itches in the future? And he goes, and then it shouldn't itch. Literally, a medical professional who hasn't introduced himself to me, when I ask what happens to the inside of my ear itches, he goes, and then it shouldn't itch. And I go, like that, and it won't itch? He's like, it won't. It won't itch anymore. I go, okay. And then he's gone. And I'm just like sitting there, just in this room where I've been totally just shot in the cavity with a syringe, with a two-handed water gun, with a primitive water gun, while I let it get carried in a bucket, and then I drove home in the car that I owned illegally. So that was my day, and my ear is still in a little bit of pain, so it hurts a little bit. Hurts like here. Like, this whole area hurts, but it's getting better. It's getting better, so I'm very excited to play a little Watchlock here. I'm getting to the game, so it's just like the weirdest thing. And so I can't even pay the tickets yet until I get my stuff registered. So this is not a story that has a beginning and a middle and an end and an arc to it in any regard. This is a story where it's just like, things escalated until I owned a car, and had a syringe in my ear. Like, that's what it was, and then I went home, and now I'm alive. Look how poofy my hair is from the stress.